Hello everyone, good evening. We were solving the sample questions from BSDS paper 2024 and we are nearly towards the end of the series. We are at question 26 now, and question 26 looks a bit critical, right? See the text of the question. These descriptions are very not comfortable to decipher, right? They are something like you have seen before, but they are written in a much more detailed way, which makes it a bit difficult to comprehend during the exam. Alright, so I will try to explain the solution to you step by step. First we have to know what they are trying to say, right? As we say in Hindi, are कहना क्या चाहते हो, right? That thing. You have to first understand what this question wants to say. How is the series constructed? Then you will look into its sum, then you will look into the limit, and also there are a few portions of the question missing, like then limit 1 by 2 n plus 1, the position of n is not given, right? Either n goes to 5, 6, 7, 8, 0. We assume that n goes to infinity because it's continuing, right? So I will assume that limit n will go to infinity. This is the question paper taken directly from the website of the ISI exam. So since the description as n is not given, I will assume that they want n tends to infinity. If any further clarifications are issued with respect to this question, we will remake the video and let you know accordingly. Alright, so here we will make an assumption that n equal to here, right? We will assume that n tends to infinity is what we want. So now let us look into what the series actually is. So xk is given in a way, xk is k equal to 1 comma 2 be the sequence. So what is the sequence? The sequence starts from a single 1. Alright, so the first number is a 1, the second number or the second term in the series is two consecutive minus ones. Why are there two consecutive minus ones? Because that is the description that is given. Starting from m equal to 1, you start from 1, a group of consecutive plus ones are followed by a group of m plus 1 consecutive minus ones. So if you start from 1 plus 1, then you have to put 2 minus 2, then you have 3 plus ones, then 4 minus ones, right? So 1 minus 1 minus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, you can see the first few terms are given, right? So if we look into the terms, this, the first term, this one will be, term 1 will be 1, term 2 will be as given here minus 1 comma minus 1, term 3 will be 1 1 1, term 4 will be minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1, right? So what will be the sum of the individual terms? Now sum of the individual terms, s1 would be 1, s2 would be minus 2, s3 would be 3, s4 would be minus 4, and so on. So basically this sequence turns into, if I add from s1 2 3 dot dot dot, this is basically 1 minus 2 plus 3 minus 4 dot dot dot. So this sequence, you can see that this will increase, right? It depends on whether you stop at the positive value or the negative value, but this series will keep on increasing, right? So 1 minus 2 is minus 1, minus 1 plus 3 will be 2, 2 minus 4 will be minus 2. It will start oscillating, right? It will either go towards the negative when you stop at the even terms. If you stop at the odd terms, you will have a positive balance. So wherever it goes, it will not be increasing in a monotonic fashion, right? It will jump to positives and negatives one by one, right? For odd numbers, it will have, stop at the odd number and check what happens. S3 will be 1 plus 1 minus 2 plus 3, which is plus 2, right? And S4 will be 1 plus 3 minus 6, 4 minus 6 minus 2. So you can see that at S4 it is, S3 it is minus 2, S4 it is 2. So it is oscillating. That is why n plus 1, that denominator 2n plus 1 is provided, so that the limit can be evaluated. Alright, now let us look into how you would put this into words basically, because discussing this in the exam is not gonna help you, right? You have to put this in words. So let us first write down what S turned out to be. S1 plus 2 plus dot 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 plus n is basically the sequence 1 plus 2 plus 3, 1 minus 2 plus 3 minus 4, and then plus dot 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 plus, how will you write it? We'll write it as minus 1 to the power k and k. Isn't it? So if I have k equal to 2, do I get, let me check. Let me check the sign first. Will it be plus or minus? So at k equals to 3, I have minus 3, right? So it will be minus. Okay? Yeah, now it's correct. So this is the format. Now the other members of this series can be added up, right? So it is basically 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. Now how will we add this up? So if we look into the sum, it will look something like the order at which it is actually present, because that power will depend on the particular number that it's on. And when we are actually taking the sum, right, you take the sigma over it, what will you get? You will get the sum of all numbers, because you are taking k's, right? K is a linear term. When you add linear terms, you get the sum of all terms from 1 to n, right? When you do sigma n equals to 1 to capital N, you get n into n plus 1 by 2. I hope you remember that. If you do that for n squared, you get n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. You do it for n cube, you get n into n plus 1 by 2 whole square, right? So using that same formula, this term will be, the actual sum will be 1 minus 2 plus 3 minus 4 plus minus 1 to the power n into n plus 1 by 2. And what will be the last digit? It will also be n into n plus 1 by 2. Right? The sum will reach till here. Okay? Now, how do we simplify this expression? Well, actually we need not simplify this expression, because we have limit n tends to infinity 1 by 2n plus 1 into this s1 plus 2 plus dot 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 n thing, right? Now when we have multiplied these with 1 by 2n plus 1, 1 by 2n plus 1 at the denominator is a linear term. So as n goes to infinity, that will increase uniformly, right? But as I showed you with the example, the first terms of s1, s2 and s3, I showed you the few examples from the first terms, right? S1 plus S2 plus S3, they keep oscillating between numbers depending on whether I end at even n or odd n, right? So as I keep doing that, the problem that happens is the upper part becomes bounded. Alright, I hope you can understand this. The upper part becomes bounded and the denominator is increasing monotonically. Right? 2n plus 1 will always increase. As I increase n, 2n plus 1 is increasing. But the upper part is oscillating. And it's not increasing as fast as the denominator. Check with a few values. That should help you understand. So what happens at S3? Alright? S3 will be 1 minus 2 plus 3. This is minus 2. No, plus 2. Check the denominator. Let's name it D3. D3 is 2 into 3 plus 1. Right? That is 7. Okay. Now let us take a bit higher number. Check S10. S10 will be 1 minus 2 plus 3 minus 4 plus 5 minus 6 plus 7 minus 8 plus 9 minus 10. So this is 1 minus 2 is minus 1 plus 3. odds minus evens, right? So 1 plus 3, 4 plus 5, 9 plus 7, 16 plus 9, 25. 25 minus 6 is 19, minus 6, 13, minus 8, 5, minus 10, minus 5. What is D10? 2 into 10 plus 1, 21. So you can see that there was a jump here, right? We went from 7 to 21, increasing, but the numerator went from 2 to minus 5. So there is no fixed direction of the numerator while the denominator keeps increasing. So in that context, what will happen? The limit will go to infinity. I'm sorry, the denominator will go to infinity, and if the numerator keeps on oscillating between finite values, then the limit will go to 0. Alright, so the answer will be option B, 0. I hope I could explain the sum and the way in which we construct the series to you. Alright, this series is quite common, but the way that this series is given here as the sum of positive number of ones and a negative number of ones, I'm sorry, sum of m consecutive ones and a subtraction of m plus 1 consecutive minus ones, the way this is given, it's only there just to confuse you. You have to recognize this series. This is quite common. If you recognize this series, then you will definitely be able to arrive at the alternating series where you have 1 minus 2 plus 3 minus 4. Now with this series, you know that it's oscillating, it does not converge, so it just goes on from negatives and positives, it increases. Alright, so eventually if you take two odd values, you will find that the sum till odd values are increasing. So S5 will be greater than S3, let's say. Alright, let us look into the example and see where we got positive values. We got positive values at odd, right? So what about S5? Let us have a check here. S5 would be 1 minus 2 plus 3 minus 4 plus 5, right? So I have 1 plus 3 plus 5, that is 9. 9 minus 6 is 3, right? So there was an increase in S5. So odd to odd it increases, and even to even it decreases, right? So when you are ending on odd number, you will find that the sequence is increasing, but by the time you see D5 will become 11, right? The denominator will increase much faster. So as you go towards infinity, it's not known if infinity is an odd number or even number, but let's say you go to a much larger number, S 1 lakh or S 1 million, whatever you take, so that will be a negative number. Now that negative number will be quite less as compared to the denominator you will have, which will be 2 into n minus 1. So whatever you do, the denominator will be heavier than the numerator. So I hope you can understand this in terms of simple sinking towards 0 or rising up towards infinity. Alright, imagine a vessel in water. If the denominator is heavier, it will sink. It will sink means the limit will be 0. If the numerator is heavier, then it will go up and the limit will be infinity. Here the denominator always remains heavy irrespective of whether we end on odd terms or even terms. Alright, so I explained it a few times. If you have any more questions relating to this, do rewind the video and check it once. In case of further problems, please contact the number that is given below in the comment section. We will be able to help you there. Alright, if you want the solution to this, the written one, we can also send you that. You just need to contact the number. Alright, so I will end this video here. This was a bit longer than usual because the sum here is easy, but it's worded in a complicated manner. So I explained you the wording, I explained you how the sum is calculated. Alright, the answer will be option B, 0. Okay, so I'll end the video here and I'll see you all in question 27. Bye.